On Sundays, we wear black.
That's pretty accurate.
Every day I wear black.
Ah, got it!
He wears that fucking t-shirt.
Elliot. Spit out the gum!
Nope. You come take it.
I don't like taking things out of your mouth.
Stop vaping!
If you can vape, I can chew.
You wanted us to be wide awake. This is what happens when I'm wide awake.
This is fine. This is better. This is better. This is real professional.
All right, we gotta hurry up. Adderall?
I already take that. It doesn't help me edit better.
You're using it for purposes.
For actual purposes to level me
You're
out
taking
like a human
fucking
being.
prescription that your doctor gave you like an
double your
asshole
dose.
instead of just taking it from your dealer TJ.
Double your dose.
I will literally go into cardiac arrest.
No, you won't. How do you know? Have you done it? Have you gone into cardiac arrest?
Yeah.
No.
No, not yet.
So it's just a theory.
Sounds like you don't want to go into cardiac arrest to me.
I know. What a poser.
Just saying, I'd do it. I'd go to cardiac arrest.
I
right
go to
now.
cardiac arrest so fast.
Real punks don't die, poser.
True. SLC Punk taught us anything. Only posers die.
No, but seriously though, like, I don't know about y'all, but when you wake up in the morning, like for the work week,
I try not to.
yeah, me too, and you're like a baby puppy, you know, and your eyes are not open yet, and you're just like stumbling into the bathroom. What I like to do is I like to take my Adderall. So sometimes I will forget if I took it or not, and I'll have this really fun game where I'll take it twice, and I'll see if I go into cardiac arrest at work or not.
Well, that's why you have a pill box that has days of the week on there, and then you go and check, and if it's empty, you already took it.
Yeah, but where's the fun in that?
Fuck me. Fucking millennials don't like responsibility. Go ahead and fucking have a cardiac arrest. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, okay, you're one.
First of all, I'm an adult, so I wake up wide fucking awake.
That's true. I could like start. I could
Are y'all
I could
fucking
fight a man.
serious?
I wake up at 5 a.m. ready to fight a man.
Yeah. Legit.
I can do 100
That's
push-ups.
What time I wake up every day is 5 a.m.
All right, well, I'm just a boy still, so I'll let y'all know when I get my big boy pants.
Yeah.
And then rip them that out.
We go to bed at a reasonable hour so that we can get 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
I do too. At midnight or later. Just like Taco Bell, baby. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cult of Horror. My name is Hunter. This is Eric.
I don't think they could tell you're pointing at me.
That's true. They can't see what you're doing.
Well, what am I supposed to... How am I supposed to do
It's
this?
going
fucking
pretty
intro?
good now. Introduce me.
Make sure to point him out.
That voice, the one that's about to talk, is going to be Elliot.
What if I just didn't say anything? You'd be so upset.
I'm there. I'm there right now. I'm in
Okay, we're
upset
good.
land.
Let's go. Cult of Horror. We're doing it. This is it. It's the
Fuck yeah.
podcast of horror movie reviews and speculations.
Yeah, we're going to talk about horror discussions. And
I did absolutely no preparation for this episode.
Same.
I think that's fine. We're just going to freeball it.
Fucking couldn't, again,
What?
the fucking dick and ball jokes.
What? What did I say?
Freeball it. We're going to freeball it. We just got to mention male genitals. It's male genitals.
So, how's everybody's week or 2 weeks or whatever, however long it's fucking been?
Exact same way it's been since the beginning of fucking time. It was alright.
Cool. I like that. Elliot?
Same.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
okay.
Same old, same old.
It's okay. I'm going on vacation next week.
Well, that's cool. So, Elliot, did you ever see Terrifier?
With the clown?
Yeah, Art the Clown?
Yeah.
Did
I also
you
saw All Hallows
like-
Eve
Okay, so
with
you're
Art
like
the Clown,
a
but
fan.
fatter. He was not a good
He
one.
was a thick boy.
My girlfriend actually was afraid at the end of that movie. It's like you're watching the tape and he comes out, that little boiler room thing. I scared the fuck out of her.
Nice.
Was it that VHS?
It's all the movies. They're all the same.
Every movie,
Yeah.
Is
no matter what.
VHS.
Every low budget, crappy anthology thing is just VHS. I hate that series.
Yeah, we hate you, so.
What are you gonna do? They just wrote the script for Terrifier 2, and they're gonna start filming it pretty
There's a
quick.
script for those?
Yeah.
I am
So they
surprised.
just throw a bunch of people on set. And
Well, they write the
see
script
what
for
happens.
the kills, and then they just throw a bunch of people there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty accurate. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that because Terrifier was one of my favorites from last year.
Well, hopefully they can afford to buy a better
Camera.
camera and
Yeah.
lighting crew and all that. So
But I mean, like, I feel like it.
Added to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of gated to that like '80s slasher, like campy vibe.
let's hide in this abandoned, most brightly lit with neon lights building ever. That's what that fucking was.
But yeah, no, I'm really excited for Terrifier 2 whenever that fucking comes out. If
I'm not that excited about it.
eat my butt.
I got some horror news.
Yeah.
Chalking back to the early days of the podcast 2 months ago.
Okay.
Tony Todd is gonna be in the new Candyman.
Yeah, he's gonna be in there.
Apparently, and I think that is due to some probably internet outcry. Because I don't think he was originally supposed to be in there. I don't
No,
think,
they didn't even ask. I don't
yeah,
think.
and then like he kind of got butthurt online, and then I think it's a whole like snakes on a plane situation.
What
where
happened with Snakes on a Plane?
The original version of the movie, like people are like, that's not enough Samuel L. Jackson. He's just the same motherfucker more, and like be like Samuel L. Jackson from like Pulp Fiction. So like reshoot it. So there's like motherfucking snakes on a motherfucking plane, which is kind of like
I did not know that happened, but that's
that. Yeah,
hysterical.
and so
I
like
don't think he was
now,
old enough.
yeah. How old are you? 15, 16.
Yeah, something like that.
You got his license. I know you got your permit. But it's like an interesting thing with, I guess, the internet age in horror
Yeah.
movies is if you make a big enough stink, you could get things done. So Tony Todd's going to be in the movie, which I don't like that.
Why don't you like that?
He's probably gonna be like the fucking narrator.
He's either going to be...
He's gonna be like that supporting character that he's been.
He's just gonna
with several
introduce-
movies.
He's either going to like do something stupid like narration, or he's like... Because he can't be Candyman.
Yeah.
Can't be Can. Or he's gonna be like the friendly old neighbor that's just gonna be like one of those fucking like nods to like horror movie fans where it's
Yeah.
like, look, it's Kane Hodder in the background being the guy that's doing things. You know, it's
Yeah.
Mowing a lawn.
He's the janitor, the sympathetic janitor that gets killed by another Candyman. Isn't that an epic scene where Candyman kills Candyman? I think it's gonna be something like that. So I think it's kind of patronizing, but it's
It is what it is.
developing news in the Candyman world as usual.
Some other news I have, which actually Elliot already talked about on a previous episode, was there's like a fan film coming out for Friday the 13th, Vengeance, and it's with Elias Voorhees. Like he's like the main character. So, you know,
Isn't
it
there a
looks like
sequel for Never Hike Alone?
Yeah, Never Hike Alone's getting a sequel.
what's that?
A better fan film.
ultimate fan
Yeah, it's the
film?
ultimate Friday the 13th film.
Oh,
You just watch it on YouTube.
oh.
Never Hike Alone. It's pretty fucking good.
I finally watched, what is it, like Michael versus Jason? The fan-made film that's only like 20 minutes or something.
From Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah, that one.
What'd you think about that?
It was, for a fan film, it was pretty fucking good. But I mean, like, you know, it's hard to
Yeah.
fully enjoy, like,
It was very nonsensical and suffered some budget issues, but
you don't say.
if you wanted to see it, there it is.
It's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
10-year-old me would have been psyched.
Did y'all hear about Swamp Thing?
No, I did not hear
Got
about Swamp
canceled
Thing.
again.
So yeah, so they made a Swamp Thing TV show for the DC universe, and it got canceled after
They
one.
need to just cancel the DC universe.
No shit. So they canceled it after one fucking episode because of some strange like tax code violation, and they just ended up canceling the entire show. They're just like, fuck this. Like, we're done. We're out.
That sucks. I was interested in seeing that.
I had heard that it was actually pretty good. Like, and it was more horror than
It's like
anything.
Swamp Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing
Yeah.
kind of looking shit.
I'm kind of bummed about that because I was gonna watch it, but
I
I
want a
didn't.
Toxic Avenger series.
Yeah,
Well, let's get a remake, I think.
No,
Toxic-
I want a fucking series.
he's getting a remake.
He's getting a remake in a movie.
Yeah, but I want a series.
He wants a series.
I would watch a Toxic Avenger series.
I was a big fan of Toxic Crusaders, the animated series.
Well,
Those toys are still fucking dope. You can find those fucking toys. They're awesome.
probably at Horror Freak
Maybe.
if they got them.
That's Hunter's Catch on.
No, it's not, but kind of. So another couple shows I wanted to talk about,
Talk about them.
just real quick.
Are they really shows or are they movies? And then you're like a grandma that says shows when she's
Yeah.
talking about movies.
A little bit of this. a
My
little bit of
favorite show, Gone with the Wind. I love that show. I love how he comes out of the stairs every Clark Gable.
No, these are shows. So one show, which I'm sure everybody's fucking heard about by now, is a Netflix show called Slasher, right?
That's old news.
It's old news, but
Fake news.
at first I didn't like Slasher that much. Like I watched season 1, and I was just like, nah, I can't get into it. Because I thought like, oh, this show's named Slasher, about slasher shit. It's kind of on the nose. It's probably going to suck. And, you know, I didn't really care for it.
Eric and all his wisdom.
Yeah,
It's
Eric's
like,
wisdom.
dude, you gotta watch it.
Well, he was like, you know, hey, have you seen season 3? And I was like, nah, I didn't like season 1. And he was just like, well, you're fucking up. Like, all right, I'll watch season 3. Season 3 blew my dick straight off.
Okay, that's a thing.
I'm uncomfortable in this room right now.
That fucking shit is the shit.
Oh, yeah?
That shit is the shit.
It is the perfect example of what a TV slasher show should be. Like, the fucking kills are some of the goriest kills I have ever seen. They're like best executed kills as well. Like kills that just keep on giving.
Should have called the show Kills.
They should have called the fucking show Kills. But I would highly recommend Slasher Season 3. Have y'all heard about NOS4A2?
NOS4A2?
No,
Yes.
NOS4A2. It's that new
Nosferatu,
show
yeah.
from Stephen King's son.
I've seen it on the cover of Fangoria.
So I watched it, watched the whole season. Eric would really like it. It is on AMC.
Do I have that?
Amic.
Yeah, Amic. I think it's still premiering episode by episode on
Do I have to
AMC.
adjust my antenna somehow to get that?
Yeah, you do. You have to turn it half an inch.
Use the foil.
to the
use
west.
Foil on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I watched NOS4A2 and watched the entire... Eric's like looking at me. He's just like, you sound so fucking dumb right now.
You sound like that all the time, but continue.
Yeah. They describe it like it's a different kind of vampire show, but it's really not.
It's about vampires?
Yeah, it's not. Don't go into it thinking it's a vampire show. It's a whole fucking different shit. It reminds me of like some kind of Stephen King book or like a modernized Stephen King. It really reminds me a lot of Castle Rock, to be honest with you.
So he just like ripped his dad off?
I think that's his whole life, yeah.
It's different. Like you could tell it's like written by somebody younger. Like that's
Like
very,
Michael Douglas ripped his father off his whole life?
Exactly.
He's gonna use his face?
Yeah, like Joaquin Phoenix and River Phoenix.
Nah, bro. Too soon.
Too fucking soon, dude.
I know, man.
Are there vampires? Or they just haven't come out yet?
There are no vampires.
So it's like Castle Rock, where it's supposed to be a horror show, but it's just boring.
I would say it's probably more entertaining than Castle Rock. Castle Rock, it's just like mystery, mystery, mystery. You're getting more into these characters, mystery. Something small happens, but still creepy. But this show is pretty creepy throughout, and there's some really fucking gory moments. I would say give it a try if you like shit like Castle Rock and maybe like the movie It, just toned down. I don't know. I would say give it a shot. NOS4A2 on AMC. Anyway, so...
That concludes the news!
Hunter segment's coming up. I'm already off beat.
Yeah, you're put way too much effort. It's sad. What are you talking about?
Talking about a few different things, all right?
Open
And I
your
know
mouth.
it's going to piss y'all off because I'm going to get all winded. So I'm going to talk about 3 different movies today. All of these movies are brand new. I'm going to do a talk about these movies and spoiler-free review.
What's the first one called?
I'm going to start with the movie Brightburn.
It's the hyped, critically
Superman.
unsuccessful.
Yeah, that's Bastard Buttholes. Remember we talked about that in
Yeah.
episode 1 or 2.
And it apparently did horrible at the box office.
wanna see
Yeah.
that.
Now, Brightburn is the story of really a family who finds a spaceship with a baby inside of it. They raise it as their own child.
Sounds
And-
vaguely familiar.
Yeah, vaguely familiar. When the child hits adolescence, you know, he starts to change as young boys do. The birds, the bees, the puberties.
So he's a B-man.
He's yeah, he's actually B-man. He's got all of these needs that he needs filled and
Sexual?
You know, Well, a little of this, little of that. Things start to happen, bad things. Really, the parents are trying to figure out what's going on. The whole movie's kind of the ride from the change in the boy into his self-actualization. You understand?
Versus nurture story.
Definitely a nature versus nurture story.
It reminds me of my own life. My parents were very good people, raised me right, and I'm a
Still
piece of
became
shit.
an evil Superman.
Yeah, same. So that's all I'm going to kind of say about the movie without going too much into it. This movie, as you can tell from the plot, is going to be evil Superman. It's shot and made like a fucking superhero movie, like with a dark twist. It's produced by James Gunn, and he did like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. And I think his brother's the one who actually directed it. I will say this movie's really saving grace for me has got to be the gore. This movie has some of the most turn your head moments in a movie that I've seen in a very long time.
Speak for yourself.
I want y'all to see it just for the gore.
I only see horror fans say they liked it. All the people that are like into comic book movies hate it.
This movie is a really weird movie because it was marketed to horror fans. It should...
Was it marketed to horror fans?
I absolutely think it was marketed to horror fans. If you think about it, what superhero fan is going to look at that movie and be like, oh, hell yeah, that, like, I want to see that. They want to look at the superheroes that they know, that they've heard of. Kind of the thing about this movie with me, I'm not a big fan of superhero movies. Like, that's not something that gets me excited. I didn't enjoy it as much as, like, if you were a horror fan as well as an action superhero movie fan. So if you do enjoy both of those things, you might really like this movie. A lot of horror fans really do, because a lot of horror fans like superhero movies as well. But for me, it was a by-the-numbers superhero origin story.
I mean, it seems like that's what you're supposed to get out of it.
Except for the gore. For me, I would say it's probably about a 6 out of 10.
I actually want to see it more now that way you've described it.
This film was really oddly made, I feel like, because like the rest of the movie, the entire rest of the movie could have been PG-13, but the gore alone, you can't put that shit in a PG-13 movie.
Teen movies need to die.
Yeah, I know. That's all I got about Brightburn. Next movie is The Perfection. It's been getting a lot of buzz on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet, so don't.
I'm not going to spoil it.
I'm going to spoil it right now and say it is awful, hot garbage.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it,
His
and I'm pissed
opinions
about
don't
it.
really matter to me.
So...
It
and it should matter to you.
If you take my fucking word for it right now. It is an episode of X-Files that nobody likes.
What? That is an awful comparison.
That is
Were we watching the same movie?
We were. Fucking hate this movie so hard. I was just watching it pissed.
I'm just angry with his fist clenched.
I had my fist. I was just all white knuckle on the couch like, if you fucking do what you fuck, goddamn those fucking goddamn that sucks. That's the worst computer. Fucking 1998 computer on this.
So, The Perfection is about a celloist who was like world renowned.
Child prodigy.
She stopped playing cello because her mother got sick. And she could have been the best cello player in existence ever. And she stopped playing to take care of her sick mother. So the movie starts out where her mother finally passes away, and she calls up her old cello teacher and was like, hey, I want to meet up. I want to see if I can help at your school, and I want to get back into this lifestyle. So he invites her to this gala.
In China.
She meets this girl that is basically...
The girl she should have been.
The girl she should have been, exactly. So she sees this girl, she's like in awe. She's jealous. You can see the jealousy as well as the envy. So you get a little bit of conflicting emotions. The girls finally talk to each other, and then they become like friends and eventually more. And due to the new girl wanting to take a break from performance life, they go on a trip.
Do they have sex?
They do have sex.
Okay, I'm in.
Gosh, shut. So they go on this trip, and that's where shit starts to get kind of wackadoo. It is something else.
So you liked it? Did you love it? You enjoyed it? You didn't regret watching it?
Let me cycle through all the options.
Well, I already got its utter shit from...
Okay, I'll give you my honest, not like Elliot over bashing.
Yeah.
This is a Tales from the Crypt episode.
I thought it was the Twilight Zone.
It's Tales from the Crypt.
It is more accurate that it's Tales of the Crypt.
It's a Tales from the fucking Crypt episode.
Oh, you said X-Files.
They use the same computer technology as 1996 X-Files.
Don't spoil too much.
So maybe that's why. But this is a Tales from the Crypt episode that they ballooned into a Netflix movie that wasn't necessary.
This movie...
Nothing is necessary.
This movie's... The plot is absolutely ridiculous.
In a good way, though, right?
No.
Oh.
It's like
the plot to me is the definite failing point of the movie because it's just so fucking out there.
This movie sounds
it doesn't
like
know where it wants to go. It's like if somebody's like, I want to do like the audition, but just fuck it up.
I would say if they made Black Swan campy, this is that movie.
Black Swan, audition, and it's a mediocre Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, there are some really good parts.
Name one.
I can't without spoiling it because there's some parts I really do like. It just seems like it's like pieced together really strangely.
It did go a direction I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, because the
but
twist,
it didn't help.
you don't see it coming.
It didn't fucking help.
Dope.
Like, if you're one of those people that likes to predict plots and you're really good at it,
You can get halfway there.
you can get halfway there, but it's not gonna. If you like sexy psychological thrillers,
Hell yeah.
then you might like it. But the thing about sexy psychological thrillers, it's usually sexy throughout and a particularly artsy type of fucked up.
Nice.
This is not that.
Oh.
It is not.
This is not that. This movie is like sexy psychological thriller mixed with like a Tales from the Crypt campiness. Everybody on the horror groups that I'm in loves this movie. Like almost unanimously said it was great, or they said they were kind of let down. Because
I'm never let down because I don't have expectations.
I feel like we're in the minority. This is one of those movies I truly think you're going to have to watch it to tell if you're going to like it. It's so out there that you may really like it or you may not. If that's not your cup of tea, that's normal. But I would give this movie maybe like a 6, maybe even a 6.5.
Damn.
You're going to like it if you're a fan of like Black Swan. If you've ever seen that movie Braid.
I watched that. I keep skipping it.
I liked it. Now we're going to get into another fucking movie. Braid came out in 2018. It's on Amazon Prime right now. It kind of reminds me if Funny Games was like a movie with all girls, but they all were doing acid and like there was no sense to be made. Like if you like nonsensical, like movies where it's just like, it's an artsy depiction of insanity, definitely check out Braid. I really enjoyed that
life.
one. I know you would like it. If you're a fan of Black Swan, Braid, or if you're a fan of over-the-top plots and twists, definitely give this movie a watch.
If you like things.
If you like some stuff, that's cool. Anyway, third movie, final movie, and everybody could probably guess this because it's new and nobody else wanted to watch it. Ma, the movie Ma.
I watched it.
Eric watched it!
Surprise!
Wow!
Something good happened.
Yeah.
I did not regret it.
Yeah, some good shit happened. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the plot.
Let's talk
Discuss
about
it.
it.
All
Let's
right,
talk about
Talk it out.
Ma is about a girl who just moves back to her mother's hometown. She starts going to school. She very quickly meets a group of kids and starts hanging out with them.
She's the new girl in town. So
She's the new girl, like standard new girl stuff. She's really kind of like shy and like mousy.
I like the whole introduction with the whole like, I was a new girl last year, hang out with this bitch. That's like how the whole thing was. And they quickly introduced her to a little group.
I think that's more realistic.
That's what I was talking about with really quickly. Like, goddamn, it's just like the first day at school. It's just like, hey, you're new. I haven't seen you before. Here's my number. Bye. But it works.
We're hanging out, fucker.
I will say that's fucking how it is. These kids start hanging out, trying to score some liquor, as you do. You know, they're kind of camping out the gas station. They actually come across Ma. Now, her name's not actually Ma, contrary to the trailer and shit.
Are you kidding me? Oh,
no, like her nickname isn't Ma. Like she
one of the
go
kids
Ma.
like nicknames her that. Like just randomly starts calling her Ma.
Yeah.
She just like owns it.
They try to solicit a purchase of alcohol from Ma, and Ma's like, nah, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then she sees something that makes her change her mind. And That's all I'm going to talk about with the plot there. I'll start with you, Eric. How did you feel about the movie?
I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, I agree.
Better than Truth or Dare.
Well, Truth or Dare, I don't rate many movies this way, but Truth or Dare was probably a 3, maybe lower.
I just felt obligated to see this movie. I did not like the trailer. I was like, this movie's going to be fucking dumb. And I went on Tuesday, which is $5 movie day, because I ain't paying more than that. And we watched it, my wife and I. And
nice.
Halfway through, I was like, hey, this is not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. What did Maria say about the movie?
Oh, she said that knowing that they made Truth or Dare, this movie was good enough to give them another chance at watching another one of their movies.
You mean Blumhouse, right?
Blumhouse, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It kind of shows that Blumhouse has, more up their sleeve than just licensing deals. No, I like this movie relatively well. It's not a great movie.
It could have been a lot better, but
yeah, it really could have been. They could have made it a really great movie.
Yeah.
I think the shortcoming was with the plot.
I think so too.
Once again, there could have been a lot more going on. Ma is one of those movies where you can't really tell exactly what's going to happen from the trailer. You can kind of tell, but you won't really get it from the trailer.
Yeah.
I will say the dialogue and the acting in this movie are fucking good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty fucking good. I will say that's the best part of the movie to me. The acting, the dialogue. It's one of the most realistic teenager movies and parent movies that I've seen.
I think they played their roles well.
God
like, the
damn.
Teenagers acted like teenagers.
Yeah.
The parents like parents.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't write much of, like, a script and just, like, let them do the dialogue.
It's like Deborah Hill from Halloween. Made them girls sound real.
Hell yeah, brother.
Facts.
So, this is one of those movies where the acting was so good that you're disappointed with where the plot goes. Mm-hmm. Like, because you want to like it. Like, Elliot, if you were to watch it, you're like, okay, there's something here. It kind of falls off.
Like all horror movies, mostly. 90% horror movies is like, and then like the end, he's like, oh.
Ma is kind of a slow burn, but you enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And for us, me and Eric, the ride is more enjoyable than the actual explosion.
Correct.
But that's all I'm going to say about Ma for the most part.
Yeah, I can't say enough how well acted I thought it was.
If the perfection was like 6.5, I would say this is like a 6.75. I don't know if I'd call it a 7.
Jesus.
Because we're splitting so many fucking hairs. Eric, what kind of people would like Ma? Like fans of...
I think teen scream movies.
If you're a fan of teen scream movies, this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's a good, like, popcorn movie to just watch. And
yeah. I want everybody to give Ma a shot.
Give it a shot.
I don't think it's a great
movie.
movie.
What do you have to lose?
Hey, this is in the dollar movie theater?
I saw Hereditary in a $1 movie theater.
Did you?
Yeah, I was stoked.
That's a dope surprise.
Yeah.
But that's all I have to talk about in my really long segment.
Yeah.
Ready?
Super fucking long.
I'm going to cut a lot of that.
I'm going to cut you.
All right, Eric. What do you want to talk about?
I'm going to talk briefly about a couple movies. Since you make me watch foreign movies all the time with subtitles, my eyes hurt. I had to get a prescription changed. I watched Toombad. Toombad.
Don't ask me how.
I don't know.
To pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Toombad.
Toombad.
Nice.
2 A's in a row?
Toombad. I'm going to say Toombad. It's called
Toombad.
Toombad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Elliot would like this movie.
Nice.
Probably not.
Lore heavy?
Oh, very, very much so. It's like originally a Hindi language film, and it's a fable or legend. I mean, right away it starts off with telling you, there was this goddess that existed, and she gave birth to 160 million gods, I think is what it says.
She blew out that vagina.
Yeah. It was like the god of wealth and prosperity. And there was one god that she favored, and all the other gods hated that god. So to protect him from the other gods, she was like, nobody's going to worship him. He'll be a secret, and that way he'll stay alive or whatever. So now they go to this, I think it's like in the 40s in India, because it takes place in India. So it goes to these little kids, these two little brothers, and their mom. She's like maid / mistress to this old man, lives in some like little thing outside of the mansion or whatever it is. It looks like a castle, and she's like insane and they have to feed her. And she's like the protector, or she's cursed or something by that one god called Sarkar or Harkar, I think it's called.
I don't know.
Something like that. When the old man dies that the mom is a maid to, some stuff happens and they're like, we're going to the big city. And the kid's like, no, that's our inheritance is that mansion and there's a secret treasure in there. And I know the old lady knows. So he goes to feed the old lady, and the old lady looks like all demonic and fucked up. She has like spikes going through her face. The lady's like, I'll tell you exactly where it is if you feed me. So she feeds him and tells him that there's a well. And in this well, it goes down into the womb of that goddess. And that demon god thing lives down there. She like tries to attack him, and he runs for it. Now it flashes forward to him being an adult. And he's poor, and he still remembers that story that, you know, the treasures are down in that well in the womb of that goddess. So he goes, and I don't want to get too much into it, but that's when it starts getting freaky. Like, he goes down to where the grandmother was, and she's still fucking alive. But now there's this gigantic tree growing out of her, like sprouted out of her body, and she's like almost mummified. And it gets really good. It has like a moral to the story about greed. I think that's where Elliot would like that.
Morals.
And this movie's long, right? It's like 2 hours.
No,
hours?
it's an hour and 45, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's not super long. Yeah.
Does it have like a musical
30.
dancing segment in the middle of it for no reason?
Not.
He has to think about it.
Not exaggerating like a lot of the other like Bollywood movies, but it has definitely a lot of music in it. But they're placed where they're supposed to be.
Is it?
Yeah, they're like relaxing and hanging out, and then people are dancing.
It sounds like an Indian Pan's Labyrinth.
I was literally going to say that this reminded me like it's influenced by Guillermo del Toro. Very Hellraiser-ish in the way that the monsters are depicted. It's like influenced by Clive Barker and Guillermo del Toro, and that's how they put this movie together. And it's based on
Elliot's
a myth.
face. He just looks.
It's based on like an Indian legend.
Yeah.
So I think that I thought it was a really well made movie.
Right.
It doesn't have jump scares. It's not really scary, but a lot of the things involved are really creepy. It's very good tension throughout the movie.
Does it sustain the creepiness like throughout?
Yeah, and then at the end I cried. So yeah, I cried.
What do we talk about with movies that make you feel things?
Yeah.
Why are you crying? Why are you crying?
I don't want to spoil it. It made me cry.
God.
Sad and proud at the same time.
Sad being so proud.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be proud if you're crying.
It's not right! So I recommend that movie. I thought it was a really well made movie. One of the things, I don't know if it's just because I watched it on Amazon Prime or if there's like a law or something in India where it was made, but every time someone was about to smoke a cigarette, like this little thing popped up on the side that says smoking is hazardous to your health.
Oh my God.
Fuck. That would be.
Are you serious? Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was just like, what
that.
the fuck? Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would not put cigarettes in my movie if I was making movies. It's like, you got to put this shit that pops up. It's like, no.
So what would you rate it?
I would rate it like a 7.
Oh, a 7. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just really well made, really well made, and artistically it was really nice, well shot, good camera work. I like the way they made the demon god thing look. I really enjoyed the movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's one I keep passing to because it seems like it's just like a whole fantasy world kind of.
It is, and that's the same reason why I didn't watch it for so long. Until one of my friends at work recommended it to me.
Oh.
And was like, you should watch that. It's actually pretty good. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I enjoyed it.
Because the reviews are better than most horror movies I see.
It's a horror fable is what it is. I mean, very Guillermo del Toro world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. Okay.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Cool.
I watched The Golem.
Yeah, The Golem.
The Golem, that was surprisingly good in another very heavy lore movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why fucking Elliot hasn't watched it. He claims to be all about that shit.
Damn.
I like reading about it. Usually I'm let down.
Yeah,
by
he's
films.
the facts guy, remember?
He hasn't seen
also,
it.
I haven't seen it. The only thing I saw, I didn't watch it, but I saw like there's a Gollum TV show. It's pretty much Jack the Ripper with Bill Nye on I think Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get into, but I haven't seen a Gollum movie. advertised anywhere. Where'd you watch it?
I rented it actually.
Oh, that's all. He's
Speaking
spending
of
money on
Toombad,
there.
where'd you get Toombad?
Toombad was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Amazon Prime right now is the place to watch new-ish horror movies.
Yeah.
Or fucking old. Fuck, they got Chopping Mall and shit on there.
They got Chopping Mall.
Sorority House Massacre.
All the 80s, like, throwback ones.
Naked Vengeance is on there now. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but that movie fucking rocks.
I also don't want to watch Chopping Mall, but everybody says it's really good. Everybody's, like, really into Chopping Mall.
It's alright.
I almost watched Hooker with a Hacksaw. Just based on the title alone, but then I watched the trailer and I was like,
that would make me not want to watch
this is like, it was like dumber than a Trauma solo budget.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, I'm not going to watch this ever.
So anyways, the Golem. Like I said, another, very deep legend, and it's based on the Jewish legend of the Golem. It takes place in Lithuania.
Oh, culture.
I don't know what year it was. It's probably like the 1800s or maybe early 1900s. It's got to be earlier than that because the plague is like going around.
1800s?
1700s. There's many plagues. There's plagues all the time. 1500. There's plagues all the time. It was good. I enjoyed it.
What did you like about... What's the plot? I still don't know the plot.
So the whole plot is like this lady and her husband, they've kind of lost their child at a young age. And they're led by this rabbi. Obviously, they're a Jewish community. And the main female, she's like kind of stealing wisdom from him and reading like the Kabbalah, and like she's really interested in the legend of the Golem, where you basically create this little clay doll and do like an incantation ritual thing. And I totally forgot what it was. It was like the real name of God, that in the Kabbalah there's a code in there that if you speak the real name of God to the clay doll, it'll become like real, it'll come to life.
Oh, wow.
So that's what she ends up doing. There's a neighboring like group or village or whatever gets struck by the plague, and a couple of the men from there, they're like real, tough asshole, hate the Jewish people guys, and they come over and they're blaming the plague on the Jews, saying, everybody else is getting the plague except you guys, and it's because you put a curse on us.
Fuck them.
The main guy from the other village, he has a daughter who's dying from the plague, and he's like, well, I'm not leaving here unless, you cure her. So now they have this threat, and the lady's like, I'm going to make the Golem. She makes it, and it's a child. But the Golem comes back, and she's like in full control of it, fights everybody, and that's all I'm going to go into about that, because then I'll start giving away the ending.
So did you explain the whole plot up until the ending?
About halfway through the movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, it's a Golem, so eventually the Golem's going to come into play.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like in the other Golem stories, like they create this thing either for protection or for vengeance. The whole moral about it is that you use it, to do evil on other people. Eventually it turns on you.
That's interesting.
So that's kind of where the movie goes. But there's a lot of other side stories going on.
Yeah.
A lot of other, interesting things. It's a really good tension builder throughout the whole movie. I wouldn't say it's a slow burn, but it's a slow burn.
Like basically there's enough going on throughout to keep you entertained.
Yes.
But then when it really goes off in the end.
Yeah.
Got it. What would you rate it?
I'd rate it a 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
6.5 maybe. I just really enjoyed it. I think I was more surprised by it more than anything. And then I also watched Rust Creek because I was told that's a horror movie. It's not a horror movie, and it wasn't good. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
You're not even going to go into the plot or anything.
I was halfway through that fucking movie. I was like, where's the horror? This isn't a horror movie. Why did they tell me it's a horror movie?
Was the creek at least rust-colored, or?
No, it wasn't.
Fuck that.
They just tell a little quick story. Oh, it used to be because there was fucking clay or some bullshit in the land a million years ago, and it turned the creek red, so it looked like rust. So they called it Rust Creek. But we mined all of that years ago, so it's no longer rusty.
It's no longer applicable to the story.
Wow, that is the most boring explanation for the title of a movie.
Yeah, I was like, I'm out. Fuck this movie.
You're mentally checked out after that?
Yeah. I mean, I watched the whole thing, but I was just like,
Fuck.
There's like a meth lab involved.
Nice.
Only if the creek would run red with the blood of those who perished, and then they called it Rust Creek.
We got a movie, boys.
I'm starting to think it just... You don't really need much to make a movie nowadays.
No.
No,
We can make something
I've seen
terrible.
some fucking poopy doos lately.
Need $50,000 in a camera.
Yeah, that's true. $50,000.
I watched Godzilla, King of the Monsters. That was good. And that's all I'm going to say.
It was good?
I liked it. I really
Everybody
enjoyed
said it was.
Yeah, well, everybody's an asshole.
What do you fucking expect? Like, look at the original Godzilla movies. Those are not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
But
Well, and this is a sequel based off the last Godzilla remake.
Yeah,
that
and
was
this is another popcorn movie. Just eat your fucking popcorn. Don't shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody
Expects
shat
too
on
much.
Kong Skull Island. I saw that in a theater. And I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because I didn't
Same. This is going to be the same like that.
Yeah,
This
like
will
I
be
thought,
the same.
I thought it was just pretty cool to see King Kong and the King Kong fucking world. Like that's all I want to see.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about the fucking?
Exactly.
Some people with Godzilla and shit really like the whole political shit around it, where it's like all the different militaries of the worlds are like, no, you need to stop Godzilla. No, Godzilla's there to help. But like, we're gonna do like an underhanded nuke or some shit. Well,
That's involved in this one.
then I don't know why
Yeah.
the ratings are so bad.
I don't know either.
Anyway.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, well then that's good. Is that it for you, Eric?
I think. I mean, I've seen a shitload of movies. I saw Dragged Across Concrete, which
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
a horror movie at all.
Yeah, that's not.
But a lot of horror fans are into those movies. The movies made by the guy who made Brawl in Cell Block 99, Bone Tomahawk.
Bone
Yeah.
Tomahawk was dope.
Yeah.
Never saw that.
This was a lot like Bone Tomahawk, but with like less of a payoff.
Oh,
I
still
bought
haven't seen
that
it.
Brawl in Cell Block 99. and
I really liked it.
It was not as good as Bone Tomahawk.
I thought
but
it was better.
It was like, it's very exploitation.
Yeah,
Like if
it's
Bone
a
Tomahawk was
Grindhouse
like,
exploitation movie.
yeah, if like Bone Tomahawk was like his Western, then like that's his fucking exploitation film.
Yeah.
But
This is his like Pulp Fiction Tarantino movie.
that sounds good. I like that dude. That dude does well. Fucking Bone Tomahawk was super dope. That was super dope. I think it got like best kill in 2015 or whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh shit. All
I
right.
don't know about that, but okay.
So I guess it's time for old Smelly It over here.
What?
Bust out at some jams at us.
Jammed? What?
Bust out the jams, boy.
All right, so today I'm gonna be kind of talking about Jaws.
Oh no.
Hunter's never seen.
I've never
the
seen it.
1975 classic from Steven Spielberg.
I'm 10.
You're 10-year-old.
Turn 11 next
well,
month.
That's how old I was when I saw it. So fucking get on the ball. So I'm going on vacation next week to the beach,
And it made me think, sharks.
and so I made Ashley and 6-year-old watch Jaws, and so Ashley won't get in the water now.
This is what could happen.
Yeah, this will happen. Anything big in water is inherently scary to me because you can't see all of it, and it's just like murky, and like just a big thing in water scares the fuck out of me since I was a kid.
I will say, I don't actually think things in water are that kind of scary like that.
It fucking
That's
scared
why I
the shit
don't
out of
really.
me.
I was never in a rush to watch Jaws because I'm just like, I'm boring.
I hate you. No,
I haven't seen Jaws in like 15 years at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't seen Jaws, Jaws is a horror classic. It's not. I wouldn't say it's exactly straight horror, but it's fucking scared the shit out of it. Like 3 generations of kids by now. But 1975 Steven Spielberg movie about a sheriff from New York who becomes chief of police of a small island, Amity, in New England. And
Amity.
Amity,
yes, the island of Amity.
not Amityville though.
No, maybe, no.
Crossover.
It's also,
Jaws meets the Amityville house.
and it's also in New England, so it's fucking every fucking Stephen King character.
That would be
Castle Lake and
maybe that's the
Kubo.
Conjuring endgame. Jaws meets the Amityville house.
no.
Shut up.
What fucking world?
Hey, listen.
What'd
if
I tell you
Amityville
about
house ends up being in the Conjuring universe, means in
Amityville
the same
Horror
universe.
was real.
That means Stephen King's fair game. I mean, it's all anarchy.
What I fucking tell
No,
you
but
about?
the Amityville
Foundation?
House actually makes sense in the Conjuring universe.
Nah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, the Warrens investigated it, so
Nah.
there's
Yeah.
a connection. No connection to Jaws.
Yet. There's no connection yet.
yeah. Okay, that's what I tell you about putting your fan fiction on the air. So it becomes a small town of this. Becomes a chief of police of this island, Amityville. This is a summer town, so they like are reliant on tourism. And so in this summer, a young girl gets murdered, eaten by a shark.
Nice.
And so he's kind of paranoid about the shark, but politicians in the town kind of want to keep the beaches open, get the tourism money, or, it could be an economic downfall. And then hijinks ensue.
God damn it! We can't keep doing this.
It's gonna fucking happen. So basically, it's this fucking 25-foot fucking shark that's wreaking havoc on this small island community.
Spoiler alert.
Eats entire
Blu-ray.
Tell me some facts about Jaws.
Facts about Jaws.
There's a shark.
There's a shark. It's an animatronic shark. There's
Water.
3 of them, $2,500 a piece.
Water.
Named Bruce. They didn't work. Because they spent all this money on these animatronic sharks, and then they worked on land. But as soon as they put them in the actual ocean, and they were on like a crane, and like it sat at the bottom of the ocean, and they were on a crane, and then propelled it through the water. But as soon as you put it in water, they stop working.
No shit, because it's a robot.
Yeah, but no one fucking thought of that in the 70s.
Nobody thought of that.
No one fucking thought of that, and the shooting went over like 100 days over, so it was like 155 day shoot, which is like a quarter of a year, which
is a long time.
Could have ruined like everybody's career.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't. It's a classic, but just by chance, Steven Spielberg wouldn't have made all those awesome CGI movies that he makes now.
I just remember being like a teenager and them every summer having Jaws marathons on TV on just like the regular, fucking
the USA
network. Yeah, just all fucking 27 of the Jaws movies.
Yeah, they made a bunch of those.
Really?
Jaws 3D, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Starring, what was it, Dennis
Jaws
Quaid?
6, New Blood.
Yeah, psychic powers.
I'm telling you, Jaws meets the Nun.
Jaws meets the Nun.
Shut up.
I can tie it to Stephen King's son, because there's a
Joe Hill or whatever.
He's currently spearheading a theory about a true crime. There's unsolved murder that happened like 100 miles away from the shooting area in 1974, where they found like a sunbather in the dunes bludgeoned to death, and they never solved it or never identified the body, and is the Lady of the Dunes. And he's currently on a campaign that she was an extra in Jaws, and if you watch, there's a scene where all the tourists start flooding the island for the 4th of July. She's in there is what he's saying, because she's wearing the same clothes and it's the same area and stuff like that. And so he's kind of I don't know why Stephen King's son is involved in this, other than it's also his favorite film. So
that's probably what it is.
But yeah, so
that's awesome. That's actually really interesting. Didn't know that.
There's a lot of weird shit that happened in the filming of Jaws. Robert Shaw was drunk off his ass the whole time, and the people didn't get along. Fucking Steven Spielberg, was on the verge of getting fired every fucking day.
Really?
Yeah, they fired the first director because he kept referring to the shark as a whale, and so the producers were like, "You're fired because you're stupid.
You're too fucking dumb. Get out."
It is dope. It's also been
duplicated and imitated.
Yeah, every fucking shark movie owes it to Jaws, but Jaws is considered the quintessential and more scary because they had actual animatronic sharks on set that don't work, and so Steven Spielberg had to cut around non-working sharks to build suspense. Everybody else just has CGI sharks. Yeah, but I enjoyed Jaws a lot, and I think Greg Nicotero cites that as his.
Who's that?
He's a Tom Savini's his sister or something like that.
Yeah, but he's not Tom Savini, so who cares?
He's better than Tom Savini because he's still relevant.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Call me Tom Savini.
Do not start shit with Tom Savini. We do not. We already got Clive Barker on your fucking list. Do not start shit with Tom Savini.
What if I just did if that was my thing, just reactionary shit that made us
That's gonna make everyone hate us. You think everybody hates us now?
Well, I love Tom Savini and I hate Elliot. Going on record.
I'll just go on. Greg Nicotero's he's no Rick Baker.
So, is there any anniversary Jaws or anything like that?
80th anniversary.
Yeah, it's you could probably find 6 anniversary editions on DVD and then now Blu-ray. But yeah, Jaws is just a classic, and it scarred me as a kid. Water. Big things in water fucking scare me. I remember watching those shipwreck documentaries on fucking PBS or whatever, and it's this boat's and it's covered in shit. I'm just I'm fucking afraid of that.
Yeah. Dude, when Jaws came out, they had everybody scared to go to the fucking beach.
Yeah,
the whole fucking country was
ruined
scared.
beaches.
It's like literally ruined beaches.
Isn't that one of the most like iconic horror movies, quote unquote, that took place in the daytime?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
everything
I would have
about
to
that
say
movie is
so.
like bright and like. Didn't Jaws like break some box office records?
Well, it was the biggest box office, I think, until Star Wars. And then, like, now everything's being crushed by every fucking
Avenger
comic movie ever. It's like,
Movies have never been more popular.
yeah,
than they are now.
I'm getting sick of people being like, new box office, biggest opening. It's like, yeah, until the next one comes out, and then the next one, and then the next one. So, yeah.
Money.
I like money.
More money put into things makes more money.
By
when
the
it's
way,
released.
nobody's donated to my fund.
Nobody. Oh, okay. Fuck Jaws. We'll talk about it later. Okay, Eric is not a rich man. He's not a Spielberg. Okay, he doesn't have money to just like
Not at
throw into stuff. Okay, he needs money. Okay, what do you want? What are you gonna do with your money? Buy things. Okay, he needs food. He needs to pay bills. He has a wife. He has a family that probably
dogs.
hit him up for money. I'm assuming they do because he looks like he has it together. That's superficial. That's good on him. Okay, he takes pride in is what he does, but he also needs this money. Please donate
It's so accurate.
to Eric's fund. He needs it. Okay, don't go to McDonald's today. That's $5. You could be kicking him. Fucking eat some ramen one day out of the week. Okay,
Stop being selfish.
for less than a cup of coffee, you could fucking make him comfortable in living. Okay, he could have his AC on this summer. You know how many people die from the ACs
Do you
not
want me
being
to
on
die?
in Texas? Do you want him to die? Fucking infants and old people die. Do you want him to be one of those statistics in the
Be a
summer?
statistic.
Don't make it a statistic. For less than a cup of coffee a day, for less than a Jamba Juice, for less than a 5-hour or 8-hour NRG, you could be funding this
Gee.
man.
You stupid motherfuckers.
Click the link at the bottom of the website. Please donate today.
There's
Thank
no
you.
link. There's
Thank
no
you.
fund.
Back to Jaws. It's named that because of his bite radius. He's got jaws. Actually, the jawbone of the great white shark is actually separate from the skeletal, and it's actually thrust forward by a group of muscles making.
I know you're trying to make a voice right now. You're doing a bit, but it just sounds like you.
I know it just sounds like me. But I don't know. I really like Jaws. It's people are like the shark didn't work and stuff, and you can kind of tell that it's a giant shark that's not real.
Yeah.
But it took me like 15 years to figure that out because it still fucking freaky.
You're a fucking dumb kid.
They originally wanted to train great whites to be in the movie, and then they realized that you can't train a giant killing machine. But yeah, fucking love Jaws, and it has so many one-liners. And so there's Jaws. I recommend everybody go see Jaws. It came out 1975 in June, so it's like a summer classic for me. So I love watching Jaws. But
How many years was it? How many years ago?
I don't know. Do the math.
What?
30,
The preparation done
40,
here.
47 years or something.
What year is it now? 44 years. But I can't believe you haven't seen it. That's, you should see it, Hunter. It's a classic.
Maybe
I think
will.
it's on Prime or Hulu. I think
I'm
it's Prime.
sure.
It's probably fucking everywhere.
All of them are on Prime, I think.
Now that I mentioned it, it's not going to be on anything. You're going to have to pay like for
I
it.
know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Oh,
it.
it's on Stars.
Oh,
It's on Stars.
Oh,
All of them are on Stars.
all right. So this time around, we're actually going to do a discussion topic instead of our, general main review. So we decided to do kind of a serious one, mental health and horror movies. Mostly how mental health issues affect the movies that you view, the movies that you like and appreciate. I mean, first off, I think Eric brought up a good point when we were talking about this topic. A lot of people with mental health issues generally like horror or are into, creepy things like maybe like witchy stuff and
The occult witchy stuff?
occult witchy stuff, yeah. I mean, like,
Blue Oyster Occult.
yeah, Blue Oyster Cult.
Horror cults? Bling, bling.
I don't know what you did there. A lot of people ask me because I have battled with depression and anxiety issues. And when people find out, people close to me that know these things and find out that I'm a huge horror movie fan, it's like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, why would someone who has depression or anxiety issues watch horror movies?
And I feel like that's a stigma. Like, I feel like horror fans never talk to each other like that.
Yeah.
It's always from people on the outside, like,
Why do you like horror movies if you're like so anxious?
why do you think that is? Like, why do you think the stigma is like that? Like, why do you think that people on the outside just don't get it? Because people act like it doesn't make sense. Like, you must really not be anxious because, like it must be all in your
Yeah,
head.
I mean, it's like, oh, you have depression, so if you watch horror movie, it's going to make you kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's always extreme.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have anxiety. Aren't you scared of everything? I'm scared of nothing but myself, okay?
Yeah.
I'm only scared of myself, and that's where my anxiety is derived from.
Got it.
I enjoy it because, number one, I get to see things play out.
Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest issues with me having anxiety is just overthinking things.
Uncertainty.
And just it's all a world of what ifs for me.
Yeah.
So
That's
getting
true.
to see it play out helps me. And number one, it's not me. And that helps me out. And it like triggers a certain type of anxiety in me that's different than to what I normally have. And it's something comparable to like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I mean, you enjoy the anxiety and the thrill of a
Yeah.
roller coaster. And when it's over, you're just like, oh, shit.
That's a really good point.
And you get a relief afterwards.
It's like
That's what horror movies are like for me.
yeah.
It's like a controlled burn of anxiety.
yeah.
Instead of wildfire.
And like even though you're anxious, you feel that you are in control of it. Because you know it's got a starting point, you know it's got an ending point, and you know if you want it to stop, you can get it to stop. You could just hit pause, you could just sit back and relax a little bit. It's kind of like with music.
Music gives me anxiety.
Yeah,
Sometimes, and it can.
he doesn't like the drums. He doesn't. They're too loud. It's
No,
okay.
in all seriousness, classical music gives me fucking anxiety.
From horror movies,
No, just like regular classical music.
horror movies
They're
make
always like
classical
ramping
music.
up to something.
and
Like,
I'm
what
just
is
like,
it?
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
My heart's beating fast.
Telling a story that I can't read or see, man. What's up?
I heard a crescendo. Am I gonna die? But I mean, yeah, like I feel like it's the same with like music. People don't say like, "Hey, you listen to this music. Why do you listen to this music?" Because you're anxious. It's with movies. It's just another like art form for you to.
For me, it's always just been escapism.
Exactly.
Like I don't like real life
That too.
is. I'm on the opposite end of Eric, where he's just afraid of himself. Where I'm afraid of literally everything, and
I know this is a good one for Elliot too, because Elliot's fairly anxious and
I'm mostly anxious. You know how like people are at 80% water, like I'm 80% like anxiety.
I can fucking attest to that.
Even from like being like a child, like I like nuclear war. Like I was in 4th grade, I was afraid of being drafted. Everything stressed me out. Yeah, like everything stressed me out. I think a lot of horror fans find it just escapism. It's just it's not the horrible realities that you're exposed to. It's something that's more fantastical, and or maybe you can just get into a movie and you just have a predisposition to like something like creepier or more violent. It's just like but for me, it's just always been escapism. And I also know like I have a friend at work. She can't watch any kind of horror movie. She has real bad anxiety, and it's just like she thinks it's gonna happen to her. Like that's her anxiety. Is like I can't watch like some kind of home invasion. I can't watch like Halloween because then I gotta go home at night. So you have both sides of the coin there, and that.
Right, that's a really good example. Because my girlfriend,
Gross.
she has like massive anxiety and she can't watch horror movies. Like she's into like dark stuff and creepy stuff, occult stuff, like all kinds of the same shit that I'm into, but she can't watch horror movies. When she does watch them, she's in it. Like she is really scared of like someone coming after her, just all kinds of different shit. She has like general anxiety disorder. I have anxiety, but it's very specialized. Like I can watch horror movies all day and it makes me feel better. Like it's an escape.
But you're like more of a, like just because you're a wuss.
With us, it's just our brains won't stop.
Yeah, like
My brain won't stop either.
we
have,
have
like,
chemical imbalances. I think you're just like raised wrong.
Yeah.
This is getting real offensive real quick
Is it?
to me.
We apologize to everybody that
Is a
is
pussy.
not Hunter, and just like there's a lot of pussy. Like I'm a pussy. Like I take that. I identify as a pussy, not a bitch, but not a bitch, but I identify as a pussy. Hardcore.
I wanted to share a story that reminded me of Elliot's youth that kind of hopped into my head. So when I was a kid, there was, I guess, a point where all over the news they were talking about fucking asteroid or whatever that was going to be flying extremely close to Earth, and it was happening in the middle of the night, and we'd be able to see it shooting across the sky. And some people were talking about, oh, it's getting so close it might cause things. It might actually hit us and all this shit. And I remember being a little kid just watching the fucking news in the middle of the night, just up, expecting the world to end because it was fucking asteroid was gonna crash into Earth, and my mom just like fucking getting pissed off at me, telling me to go to sleep, and I'm just sitting there drinking coffee as a 6-year-old kid, watching the fucking news, waiting for the world to explode. I think that's where it started.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I can relate to a lot of that as a kid.
I didn't like coffee though.
I still don't like coffee.
I can also say I was freaked out about getting drafted as a little kid.
I'm gonna have to go to war for something I don't give a single shit about.
Damn.
They're gonna take my life like that?
What a 6-year-old Eric didn't know was that the caffeine in the coffee is actually hyping his anxiety.
Nah.
If you have anxiety, people, don't be drinking too much caffeine.
Hey.
You soda heads. That's bad for you.
See, one thing that kind of adds to your point about like the use of horror movies in treating anxiety, it's like a controlled burn of anxiety. But when I play horror video games, that's like completely different. It's a completely different experience.
Oh, because now you're in it. You're immersed in it. You're part of it.
Yeah, because I love horror games. I just cannot play them very much because they cause me deep anxiety because I'm controlling it. My good friend was talking to me the other day, and he's a big gamer. I'm not so much. I'm not a very big gamer. He was like, "Oh yeah, have you played like the new Resident Evil 2 remake?" And I was like, "No, I'm trying to beat my other horror games first." And he's like, "Oh, well, like the games you're playing, like aren't they third person?" Yeah, that doesn't fucking matter. I'm controlling this person. But like horror video games do that to me. Like supposed haunted places do that to me. Even though I don't really believe in ghosts, but horror movies, like that's something that I can truly control. And I think it's back to the controlled burn thing.
I fucking love eerie places.
I love them too. It gives me deep anxiety because I'm just like, whoa.
It also might be like how old you were when like horror movies are like arrived in your life. Because like again, my friend, she did not grow up watching horror movies, and then as an adult, when she has access to horror movies, she doesn't want to watch them because it triggers anxiety. But as a child, when the horror movies were just kind of like always there, and especially if your parents left you to your own devices or alone with a television, it was like always there, so it became like a source of comfort.
Yeah.
Like I fucking watch like a Friday the 13th movie and just like chill the fuck out because like it's nothing. It's just called this bunch of comfort food. And like we've had a discussion about that movie Barton Fink.
Yeah, Barton Fink.
Because like people ask me like a scary movie, and I always put that in there, and it's just a Coen's brother like noir. It's not even a horror movie. But it always triggered my anxiety just from putting myself in more of a situation of like a real life, just like hopelessness and like despair and kind of like being cornered in like a part of your life and nothing to do about like that.
It just gives you like an existential crisis.
Yeah, like that triggers my anxiety more than, some like killer stalking a chick through the woods or like monsters or like brain mites or something. Like that always, made me feel scared, if, whatever you want to call that. But like that was always like a hard movie for me because I guess like psychological thrillers, are less easy to watch than like slashers because, as soon as you start getting like brain involved and you start putting me in like a situation that I can't get out of, like I get boxed in and then I start freaking out. But I don't really get, scared because I'm an adult. But
I'm a grown ass
fucking man. But like you can make me uncomfortable more with like a psychological thriller than any other kind of horror movie.
I agree, actually, yeah. Some of the most, like, fucked up movies for me are psychological thrillers.
And, like,
There's
growing up...
nothing scarier than my own fucking head.
Scariest movie in the world to me was A Beautiful Mind.
Shots fired.
Fuck, dude. That movie fucked me up.
Because the fucking... Yeah.
He's losing his fucking mind. You're watching him progressively lose his mind, and I'm like, I feel like that's how my life is.
That's...
For those who don't know, Beautiful Mind is a true story about a man with schizophrenia.
Who was, like, a certified... genius.
Who was also a genius.
Yeah.
So
he had a beautiful mind.
He had a beautiful mind. That was also a horrible mind. Damn. That's what the thing is like. Is it a beautiful mind or is it's tragedy?
Yeah.
Russell Crowe.
My life.
Like gore, just like fucking people get anxious because they have, they're squeamish around like blood and guts and stuff like that. So that triggers people. But then, I'm fine. Like more the better. Like that's a huge part of like the horror community is the gore hounds. And that's like all they want. Like fuck acting or plot, just, chunks of blood.
Eric.
How does gore strike you?
It's mindless and I enjoy it.
There, boom, right there. It's fucking mindless.
Yeah.
Like, so where some people are triggered off because, like, they don't want to, like, deal with the visceral part of the human body and or death and all that. But describing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's mindless.
That's true.
There's an obscure horror movie, probably a thriller, called Chasing Sleep. It's about this man who his wife just like disappears one day, and he's just like waiting on like her to come home or the cops to figure it out, and time starts like deconstructing around him kind of because like he'll like sleep and like opens the door, it's nighttime, he goes to the other door and it's daytime, and he's just kind of like freaking out, worrying about his wife. Yeah, and like that's probably the movie that I relate to most when people start asking me about like my mental health, is just like waiting for someone to come home and not knowing what the fuck's going on, and then like things just start falling apart around you.
Shit.
It's a good movie. Sometimes you can find it at the Walgreens, like $3 DVD bin.
What do y'all think about how horror movies depict mental health?
As far as like My Bloody Valentine, where this fucking kid watches somebody murder somebody and then he grows up to be a murderer.
Yeah.
I think, especially in the 80s, like that was the catalyst. Like that's the plot. Like that's like the stigma behind mental illness didn't get anywhere until like the 2000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a plot engine free for all. He's slightly crazy, so anything goes.
Yeah, being slightly crazy,
which is the exact opposite of what it's like in real life.
Yeah,
I mean, the majority of people, I'd say 90% of people with mental health issues are very docile and least likely to commit violent crimes.
Even those,
it's almost like watching those movies are going to trigger something in you because you're fucked up.
Yeah, that's another thing. Should you even be watching these movies? Like, are you going to go off? Like, mental health in horror movies was traditionally so fucked up. If you had one mental health issue, you're going to be the killer. You're going to go off and you're nuts.
If you have one little thing, then that means you're susceptible to every part. Maybe you have a little bit of depression. That means you're probably fucking psychotic or you're probably schizophrenic. It's just like, you check off one box, everybody else thinks you automatically check all of them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
even like outside of depression and anxiety, just like trauma victims, like they can't watch horror movies, and then like in horror movies, trauma victims, sometimes they're the killer. They got to get revenge. Like that's
revenge.
That's the whole nother thing. Like
mostly killers are either sociopaths or straight up. Is it just psychopath? No, it's not psychopath.
It's psychopaths, sociopaths.
And then there's the...
I don't know what word you're looking for.
Communist.
Yeah, there's the communists, eviscerate the proletariat,
I heard that in a song.
I love that song. But I don't know. I think we've got a long way to go still, but recent movies have been trying to put a Band-Aid on that stigma, and especially Stop the Stigma.
They were at Frightmare.
That one, yeah, they were at Frightmare.
They're a good one. There was a time, though, I don't know if I should go into this.
Do it. No, just do it.
When I talk about it. I almost died a couple of years ago, and it caused me to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And I was in basically hyper aware and in a constant state of panic for probably 3 to 4 months. I mean, my body was like a tuning fork. Felt everything vibrate. I would go days without sleep. It was just like, I never knew what time it was. I didn't know what day it was. My head wouldn't stop, and I couldn't watch horror movies. I couldn't watch anything. And I started number one, what they were telling me was I was kind of started pushing myself deeper into it because I thought I was never going to get my normal life back. And horror movies being a big part of it, I stopped watching horror movies, and that made me even more depressed because I'm like, fuck, I can never watch horror movies again.
And that's how you cope.
Yeah.
Growing up, I didn't really have depression or anxiety. Well, I didn't think I had anxiety, but I did.
Yeah.
And I called it being nervous. I'm being nervous, after I started taking, Adderall, I went to college, and goddamn, I needed that shit to get through college.
Fucking nerd.
And I had my first, at least I thought this was my first full-blown panic attack. Since I never experienced it. I never experienced intense clinical depression. I never experienced anxiety that I knew of. I was one of those, I was just like, yeah, but I just don't get why, you just got to work on yourself, be happier, I was giving advice to other people and not realizing that it was something that it's not easy to fix. So when I finally had a moment where I had a full-blown massive panic attack where I almost crashed my car. I blacked out. You know, I had the whole like tunnel vision, and then it went straight to black, and I feel like I had a stroke or some shit, and my heart's like beating out of my fucking chest. I'm like, this isn't normal. I called my girlfriend, and I was like,
I'm dying.
I was like, I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack. I need you to come to Care Now or the fucking hospital or some shit. We went to Care Now, and I was like, I had them do every test. I was like, do a fucking EKG, do a fucking like this. I know I had a heart attack. I know that. And so he just sat
And
over.
he's like, hey, buddy, you got any history of anxiety or anything like that? Because I'm looking at this picture. Your heart's fine, dude.
I was like, no. Are you sure? You sure I didn't have a heart attack? And he's just like,
Yeah, you need to just chill out, okay? You had a panic attack.
You had a nice doctor.
Yeah, I mean, the doctor that I had when I had my moment like that was like, you're fine. You probably have anxiety. So just go check out with the nurse over there.
that's exactly how my doctor was. I'm just trying to make it funner.
What you man the fuck up?
Yeah.
All right. It's fucking.
Yeah.
And if somebody tells you and you're going through shit and they're just like, oh, well, just stop thinking about that or just chill out. Oh, you just need to relax. Stop fucking listening to those people.
Yeah, you can't listen to. Like I said, when I was younger, I used to be like that because I just didn't get it. Now I fucking get it because it hasn't fucking stopped, and it was always there. I just didn't realize. I have way more anxiety than I've ever had in my life now. But that's just growing up. I was like 20 when that event I just described happened.
It's
so.
like a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm like 27.
I was in my 30s.
Oh, gross.
I'm happy that I'm not happy, but the only like glad moment that I had when I had like my breakdown or whatever, which they're telling me is not a breakdown. Stop saying that. Yeah, it's fucking not a breakdown. They were like, I was fucking freaking out thinking I was gonna be schizophrenic. They're like, you're too old. Oh really? Yeah. You would have started showing signs when you were younger. It's like, oh, so I'm not schizophrenic? No. Oh, okay, I should feel better.
Yeah, I'm terrified of ever going schizophrenic or having Alzheimer's.
Apparently, you start showing signs early, like late in teens.
Yeah.
I guess it does happen like at late onset as an adult, but more than likely would start showing up in your teen years, early
It
20s.
shows up around the same time as IBS. So look out for that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. One of my biggest accomplishments to me when I was coming back to being me was sitting down and being able to watch a horror movie by myself.
Yes.
What movie was it?
Yeah, do you remember?
Fuck, what horror movie
Better be
was it?
fucking good if it's something stupid.
I don't remember anymore.
I'll take that in.
Wasn't that years ago? That was like a few years
That
ago.
was a few years ago, yeah. I know it was a slasher movie, and I just can't remember which one it was.
Old, new,
It was an old slasher movie.
Maniac.
Sit down and then I watched Ticks.
The Prowler.
And I was like, I'm back, baby. I would have hit you in the face.
I actually kind of think it was the Prowler.
That's a really good one to fucking...
Yeah.
That's a good
Come
one.
back
I really
to.
think it was the Prowler, actually.
It's Tom Savini's best work. I love you, Tom Savini, despite earlier comments.
I really don't want to piss off Tom Savini.
No,
What?
no.
What's he going to do?
He'll
Fucking rip your
beat
face
the
off,
shit out
dude.
of
He's like
you.
7 years old and pure meat muscle.
He's just getting bigger and stronger the older he gets.
Pretty sure I'm taller than him.
That's not true.
I walked past him at a Frightmare.
Yeah.
You didn't post up, though, because you're a bitch.
Not a bitch, I'm a pussy.
to
We
chest.
established this.
Yeah, well. So what do y'all think? Anything else we want to talk about?
I think, like a lot of people with mental issues and mental health, I think if you like horror movies, I think it's mainly just the escapism. I think it's horror movies are the coping mechanism. That's why fans are so fanatical about that shit. And then, normies are never going to get it because they either don't have those issues and have different coping mechanisms, or they just don't approve of horror because of
It's smut.
their God-loving ways. But
There's a lot of Christian horror fans. A lot of those. So is that it, though? Like, I feel like we could go a little bit deeper, but I think we got some
can.
really
you
good
can go
points.
deeper. You can go into the whole 90s, like, single white female streak that was going through a whole fucking decade of that shit. Like the whole, like, just weird, obsessive, people. Like, you ever seen single white female?
No.
She becomes obsessed with her roommate
Yeah. And then,
and
like,
becomes
yeah.
her.
yeah. and,
Wants
like,
to become her.
there's a lot of that in the 90s of just, like, obsessive,
Yeah.
Like, kind of like stalkery things.
Yeah, and like it's like don't get close to anybody because anybody could be a fucking freak.
I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that people who've never suffered with any mental illness, even though I think everybody has something.
Everybody's got anxiety now.
Yeah. I just found out yesterday when I tried to make an appointment with my fucking therapist that she no longer works at the company that...
Oh, fuck. You'd think they would call you for that shit.
She didn't work here anymore. Do you know where she went? No. But we can set you up with somebody else.
Oh, great.
No, thanks. I'm just going to fucking talk to the wall.
I have years of rapport with this person that is like opening me up and doing like mental surgery on me. Yeah, no, let me just start over with whoever you pick. Yeah, I'll just get you somebody in the back.
Denise is good. You like Denise. You like the Christian-based therapy? You'll love her.
I think her name is Peggy, the person they wanted me to set up with.
That's not
I'm
a
like,
real name.
yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Sorry,
I
Peggy.
like Peggy.
Nothing against you. Well, okay, we can get you up with Robert. How about Robert?
A man?
No, man.
I'm not going to open up my feelings, no, man. Which is true.
Accurate.
But one last part about like the whole nature and nurture of horror movies. There is a stigma that if you grow up watching a lot of horror movies, then that's going to fuck you up and give you mental issues.
This is the original violent video games talk.
Like there's a lot of stigma about that. Like that movie fucking Found.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
I've been watching horror movies since I can remember. I maybe like when I was 4 or fucking 5 or something like that. Like I've been watching horror movies. Like those are my go-to movies that I've generally liked. Like when I liked movies. So I think that's why maybe I find comfort. But I think you're right. Like if you didn't start out liking horror movies, maybe it's something that, like if you stumble on them later on in life, maybe they do really get you.
Yeah.
You know, like if you in adolescence, you know, you learn things a lot easier and like you cope with things. You're kind of absorbing. You're like a sponge. So if you're absorbing these horror movies, they don't affect you. They know that it's comforting in that way. But all right. So I guess we'll wrap it up there.
If you are suffering from depression or any suicidal thoughts, that you should probably reach out and call somebody or
What's the
a
number?
hotline. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. It's available 24 hours a day. You can also chat online with somebody if you don't want to feel like calling. Because I wouldn't fucking call. I'd chat online before I called.
You would?
Yeah. Text somebody.
Because you have social anxiety too.
Yeah.
Like
Just
real bad.
Reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised with how many people can relate to what you're feeling.
So many fucking people can relate.
Just to get a little bit personal with me,
Yeah.
when I've kind of developed that stuff, it was a big hit on my ego because I was always a tough guy and not scared of shit. And all of a sudden, I'm fucking freaking out and having anxiety and all this crap. And I was embarrassed to tell anybody about anything.
Yeah.
And it was like even a secret with my parents. Like when I started going through shit, one of the first things I was like, don't tell anybody this is happening to me because I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And don't let that happen to you. Because if I would have just come out and realized what was happening and be open about it, I would have gotten a lot better a lot sooner.
Yeah, that's like in my family, like a lot of the older generations, especially Hispanic generation, they're like, you don't fucking talk about that shit.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, and then you're in therapy. And does your family have a history of mental illness? You're like, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's just me.
No fucking idea.
And then like once you start going to
We don't
therapy,
talk about
then
it.
your aunt tells you about like, oh yeah, like your uncle, yeah, he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Your
You know what I'm saying?
grandfather, he tried to kill himself, then he tried to kill me. You know, like you'll learn some
Yeah.
shit, but like they don't fucking talk about it, the older generations.
Yeah.
Also, mental health it's different for everybody.
Is it though?
It is. I can.
According to Psychology Today, no. According to your therapist, yes.
Who do we believe?
What?
He's like, I had anxiety.
Yeah, I'm gonna like
Anxiety that's so crazy and chaotic.
chill out. All right. We'll
Don't tell me to chill out. We just talked about it.
listen, Betty. Maybe you should chill.
You just need to relax.
Exactly. Just relax.
I always think
Like get out. Fuck. That was so anxious.
I always tell people it's like when you're in a fight with your girlfriend and you tell her, you just calm down. You're like, has that ever been helpful? Like, fuck you.
I had my
but-
first panic attack at Best Buy.
Fuck, dude. I've had so many panic attacks at Best Buy.
No, I had like my first full blown as a fucking customer.
Oh, it's a customer?
Yeah, this was after our working at Best Buy.
What?
Days. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I went in to go buy a TV with my parents. And
Oh.
I was like, oh, why is everything falling on me?
What the fuck?
It's just like, fuck, the whole fucking building just got turned into a tiny box. What's going on?
Your parents just walk away.
Yeah.
We don't know him.
Are
No.
This guy's crazy.
you on drugs? Yes.
Yeah, dude. My mom thought I was on fucking drugs as a teenager.
My mom thought I was on drugs.
And it's like,
Still
you
to
were
this-
so stupid, mother. You don't know who I am. I've never fucking touched a cigarette. You stupid idiot. Mom.
My mom still thinks I'm on drugs.
Yeah.
My parents are very supportive of everything I do.
Wow, that's really cool. Elliot's parents are the same way.
Yeah. My mom.
Must be nice.
Yeah, my mom's like, oh, yeah, mental issues. Yeah, I got fucking crazy mental issues. I was like,
This makes sense.
cool that you told me when I was 25 instead of younger when I needed help. Now I just have fucking horror movies and all kinds of stupid shit as coping mechanisms
Woo! Hell yeah, brother.
instead of medication and therapy that I desperately needed.
But yeah, so one thing I did want to bring up very quickly. There's this app I discovered on one of my horror groups called Tubi. And it is a free app. I believe it's on...
You discovered it? You sound like Christopher Columbus right now.
I discovered
It's
that
fucking
app.
been existed.
Basically, it's got a bunch of movies on it. And it's actually got a lot of newer movies, horror movies and non-horror movies. Pretty wide selection. And the best part is it's completely free and legal.
It has ads in it.
It has ads in it.
So if you've heard of Crackle, it's Crackle with more movies. It's way fucking better than Crackle.
There's some good shit on there. Check it out. What do you have to lose? It's fucking free.
It's like hundreds of fucking good horror movies on there.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think it has Tomb Bat on there.
It might.
Oh, and another thing, speaking of Get Out, just check out Graveyard Goods. It is an Instagram, I guess, page where they have limited edition pre-orders of like shirt designs. I got this badass fucking Get Out shirt just recently.
How much are they paying you?
Not a lot, but it's a really cool shit. If you like shirts that have like print all fucking over it, definitely check it out. Graveyard Goods, Instagram. Yeah.
Sounds like Honey's trying to get some more shirts for free.
Hey,
I'm going to say what size shirt you're
wearing
wearing.
XL and long sleeves.
Well, we're all going to be attending the new grand opening for Horror Freak, which is a horror-themed store in Bedford, Texas. And,
Come on out!
So fly out here, all my friends that live all over the world.
Support local horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got
in Texas.
a lot of movies, DVDs. They got artwork. They got toys. They got vintage toys. They got collectibles, anything horror related. And I think they also have a badass sign. Did you see the new sign?
Yeah, the new
Oh
sign's
my god,
pretty
the
dope.
sign is so dope.
Really awesome to live in an area that finally has somewhere I can go to just buy random horror movies and just soak it all in.
That shit's basically unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And Elliot's band, The Horribles, are going to be playing.
Yeah, Elliot's band, The Horrifics. That's a better name, Elliot. You should change it.
The horrific? Not horrific.
No, The Horribles.
The Horribles? That sounds like, I don't know.
Like the,
That
it's like
sounds like
The
a-
Incredibles, but the opposite.
Live bands are going to have pop-up shops. They're going to have food trucks, barbecue.
Nice. It's going to be pretty tight.
I'm going to get fucking fat.
Hell yeah, brother. It's about time.
Are you going to be here, actually? When do you go on vacation? The weekend?
Next day.
The next day.
Yeah, you do. You fucking go the next day. Elliot is like a fucking animal, and he never stops. He sleeps like 6 hours a day and works
It's a
like
lot.
he just never fucking stops.
If the shark stops swimming, it drowns, baby.
Oh, Jaws. But this new movie I've been talking about for a little bit that I had to watch, like I had to download it or some shit. It's called Life Changer. Came out in 2018.
Isn't it on Netflix?
Just dropped
Yeah.
on Netflix last week, and people are like trashing it, but here's why. You gotta understand, this movie, The Life Changer, is not a horror movie. Everybody's watching it because it's...
Seems like a sci-fi movie from the description.
It kind of is. But it is a romantic black comedy with horror movie skin on it.
So like Love and Basketball?
Yeah,
Fucking love.
just like that movie. No, but if you like shapeshifter movies or sci-fi movies and body horror, definitely give it a watch. It's a really interesting take on the body snatcher type genre. Don't go into this movie thinking it's a horror movie. It is not a horror movie. It's lighthearted. You're basically getting narrated through the life of a shapeshifter. So if that sounds appealing to you, just think of it like that and then go into the movie. I really enjoyed it. I'd probably give it like a 7.
Really?
I really liked it. Did you watch it?
No, I've been avoiding it.
But it's not a horror movie. It's not going to scratch a horror itch. I'll tell you that.
You're a horror itch.
All right. Let us know what other things you would want us to discuss. We want your feedback. Do you like the discussion topics? Do you like the reviews? Just let us know.
Let the record state that Eric needs these people's money. All right. He's not driving, some kind of like spaceship to work. He's driving an American-made fucking vehicle, which takes American-made gas, okay? Which takes American-made oil and petrol to make it function, electronicals that need to go into there.
I need Chevron with Techron.
Yeah, that's just to get to point A to point B. He ain't going on no fancy like road trips to find himself. This ain't no Britney Spears Crossroads. All right, he ain't. Come on, man. Like, I know you got money. I'm gonna give him $5 right now. And then this is where there's like a noise of like $5. Yeah, we put that in later.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, fix it and post it.
All right.
Cult of Horror. You can find us on Facebook at Cult of Horror, and Instagram is where you're going to get a hold of us. The easier is going to be Cult of Horror TX, one word, Cult of Horror. You can come on down, drink the Kool-Aid, join the cult, all that yibbity-yabbity.
Drink the Kool-Aid and let the hijinks ensue.
Drink the I think we should start doing drink the Kool-Aid, have a great day.
Do it.
I like that.
Drink the Kool-Aid, bitches, have a great day.
Drink the Kool-Aid, have a great day.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Bitches. Drink the Kool-Aid, bitches.
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 Drink the Kool-Aid.
Bitches. Drink the Kool-Aid, bitches.